Hello, ladies and germs. Let's take a look at this Baicells Technologies company LTE TDD base station, otherwise known as an ENB. So this consumes 48 volts, 1.3 amps. Transmit power is 33 dBm. Frequency 3650 to 3700. This is a BS 1100. Now, what's we got on the bottom? So we've got two N-type connectors here for the RF. We've got our GPS antenna, antenna 1 and antenna 2. Underneath these awesome little bulkhead mounts are these the Ethernet jacks here, which you've got your gland that goes onto that, plus your power connector over here. So kind of neat, eh? I'm actually going to be scavenging these because these radios are debunked. They could not be repaired. They are damaged beyond repair, so they're essentially garbage. But there's little parts like these guys here that I can use for like experiments and stuff. Like I'm going to use these outside of my RF lab. So these guys here, I'm actually going to stick them on the enclosures that you guys saw outside so that I can close them up when I'm not using them. But then now I simply plug into these, open them up, plug in, and then I don't have to run cables through holes and stuff, so that'll make life a lot easier. Let's get inside. That looks like a... There we go. All right, so here we go. The aluminum housing has been released. It's open, okay? So first of all, these guys here, let's actually just take it to pieces as we do this. So here's our LEDs, okay? I'm going to take the time here to remove the LED strip here. See, this is why I don't like throwing things in the garbage. It's because just because something's useless and can't be used anymore doesn't mean that you can't break it down and use specific parts from it and maybe recycle what you can, which makes things a lot better for the environment. So there's the LEDs, and this is using a 9-pin connector and header. No! All right, now what else we got here? This here to me looks like the brains. So we've got power going to this, plus look at this, there's a barrel type connector on here and two RJ45s. Now also on here is a GPS lead. So this, I'm wondering, what is this module here? Because we've got a lot of, like we've got our TX and RX here. It's almost like the bottom board might be the amplifier and then the top board is actually the brain board. So let's see what we got. So I'm gonna undo these RJ45s, unplug the GPS UHF connector. These UHFs are handy, by the way. My oscilloscope actually uses these. So if I unplug this, there's a coupling header here, and then there's 4 RF connectors here, and these are actually press fit. So if you look at this, these things are actually designed. They're the same basically on both sides, but then they have these little couplers that go inside between the two of them, like so. So these are UHF type connectors. So what do we got? This is definitely the brains. So look at this. We've got some RAM here. We've got a hard drive here. Oh, here's the Ethernet chipset here. Hey, it's a Realtek. I wouldn't have thought that I'd see a Realtek on a piece of equipment like this. Let's pop her open, actually. Cool. Analog devices. That is a radio chip. And this Trimble looks like, yeah, that's the GPS kit right there. That's the whole GPS right there. All right, so we got that out of the way. Anyway, let's get some nippers here. All right, so what do we got here? This is the output. Okay, and this is the input here. And by the way, this board here is completely usable. This is an actual filter board. That's basically all that it is. They've got our choke coil here, which acts to clean up the power coming in, okay? We've got 4 metal oxide varistors here, which work as a surge suppressor. We've got a capacitor, another MOV. That looks like a resistor and a fuse, or two resistors maybe. So this is an interesting little power board, and it looks like there's a FET on here. I see there might be a couple of FETs on here, so this actually could be a boost or a buck. I think it's actually a buck converter. 48 volt input, 12 volt output. Yes, this is a buck board. Holy shit, and there's DDT on here too. So this is a buck converter. So this takes 48 volts in and spits out 12 volts. That's really handy, actually. See, I can use this somewhere now. Let's take a look at the amplification center of this thing. Oh, and I should probably unplug these jumper cables. Like, it looks like the radio is actually up here, but this part here is the magic. This is the high power output. So this is potentially a 3 gigahertz. Oh, it is, and it's an amplifier array. That's exactly what this is. Holy shit. Look at that. That is a signal combiner right there. Just got 2 signal combiners. And then these are cavity filters right here. And these are all your amplifier chips. And these are the labyrinths, the cavity array. So this keeps specific components isolated while at the same time allowing the RF to flow through specific channels as they're guided. So this is fascinating, man. Isn't that neat? Neat. Okay, so yeah, it's basically like this. So enough of that one now. Let's take a look at the actual board itself. Can I pop this out? I think I've got 2 more screws holding it in. Now look at all that. Wow. Not sure if that's copper or gold. Yeah, we'll find out. So here we go. Let's take a look at the board now. Look at that, eh? So this is the amplification board for sure. So our RF comes in here. So TX2, TX1, TX2, RX1, RX2. So that's our 2 chains, okay? That's 2 chains demuxed. So they're coming in demuxed off of this guy here with the analog devices, the AD1640 chipset, which is from Singapore, by the way. And then it goes out here. So we've got our 2 chains, chain 1, chain 2. Anyway, you can figure that out for yourselves. So taking a look at this, oh, wow, look at that. So this is chain 1, which comes over here to this section here. So this is for chain 1. This is our mux and our amplification. And then this is chain 2. And oh, man, look at that. Look at these guys. Pretty neat, eh?
Savvy.
And that's the signal combiner right there. If you guys are familiar with RF11s, this is basically what these guys are, except these are board mount. And then our power section is through here, the actual source power that actually feeds this thing. Sorry, I am playing with this. But any of you guys who are running Baicells, at least this gives you a chance to actually look at what's inside of it. So then here's your antenna output, 1, 2, chain 1, chain 2, just like that. But it comes in as 4 with the TX and the RX separated, and then it's recombined and amplified through here. So the TX goes down here to these amplifiers here, and then the RX actually stays isolated and goes to the signal combiner here and then straight to the antenna. It's basically the same on both sides. So it's the amplifier that's being amplified. Or the transmit is being amplified, not the receive. And then, of course, these are the cavity filters that filter out all bands outside of the specific frequencies that this radio is set up for. These are actually physical devices, so they are physically set to a specific band or range, okay? There's a little bit of gold on there. A little bit of a lot of gold on there. All right, let's take apart. You know what? I am going to grab my drill. All right, let's get this guy off of here. Good. Cool. So there's a nice little 2-pin DC connector. What else we got on here? These are the ones I want. Look at those. Aren't those pretty? See, now these I really want for my RF lab, because as you guys know, I've been building an RF lab in my backyard for testing radio equipment. And the biggest problem is keeping the enclosures sealed while allowing me to plug my equipment in. So since it's all underneath, this would be wicked because then the rain can't get in. So the cool thing about this guy here is even if I can't find the twist-on gland, which I'm sure I'll be able to find the twist-on gland, but if water is actually on the housing, and this is underneath in the middle, the water is actually going to run off of here. It's not actually going to come back up into here. And as long as I've got a drip loop on each of the RJ45s, I can simply put the caps on these guys like this when they're not being used. And there's a spot here that you can hook up a little chain to, which allows it to dangle when it's not being used. So these are made by N-Link. Yeah, we've got these wicked little RJ45 couplers. Now the last thing that's on here is these N-type connectors. And they're not even that tight. Awesome. Not that I need the N-types, but you know, for completion, right? Yeah, that one's covered in tar. I gotta heat it up before I actually take it out, but see what that is? That's the old Bitsmith tape. And when it goes bad, it's just like a gooey, gross mess. There we go. So I have essentially dismantled this thing. There's really nothing left to it. I mean, there's actually there's something more here. There's this little block of aluminium here, which have these little light pipes in them. So these little light pipes go in here like so, see? And then the circuit board goes in behind, illuminates them. Simple as that. Very, very simple. Now, as far as this goes, though, oof, that's just nasty. I don't even know if I can get that off. Where's a lighter? That's, I might be able to actually, can I get it started? If it stays together even in the slightest, I can actually like peel it back. I'll be able to like, I might be able to peel it. Oof. No, I don't even want to try. There's no point. There's so much goober on there. Yeah, that's all that there is inside of one of these things. Oh, and last thing, there's actually a breather on here. I should actually be able to pop that off easy enough. Feels like it's ceramic. It's made by Seishun. I think I need some needle nose pliers for this one. This could be useful somewhere. So this will allow, this actually acts as a moisture barrier while letting air in and out of the enclosure. And these things are usually, basically water it repels water. So it allows air in and out, but it will repel water and keep bugs out and stuff like that. So it's a little breather. I've got a couple of parts on here that I very much want to use. The rest of this is basically recycling. I don't really think I can do anything with it. It's all blown up junk. But these here, all of that work just for these little guys. Man, those are handy. You'll see what I'm going to be doing with them. So there's that. All right, that's that for that. And this guy here, this will be handy because if I'm doing 48 volts out in the backyard, I can use this to get 24 volts, or sorry, 12 volts for devices that I want to run that are 12 volts instead. PKB over here, take a look at this. See, look at that. It's got a barrel connector on here to actually run it. You know what, just for shits and giggles. This is, by the way, the worst possible thing is, I know it's blown, but if you hook up a radio without any load on it, no matching, you will blow it up. So the Baicells is actually 12 volts internally. So I've got a 12 volt patch cord right here. Let's, looks like it's standard, so let's plug it in. Neat. It's actually booting up. Okay, I think it says run. How hot is that getting? Oh, it's getting a little hot. So, yep, that's another teardown completed. So, yeah, thanks for watching, guys. I hope that wasn't too boring. You can tell that I'm tired. I squeeze this in during a work day, trying to make sure that I get some more content for you guys. And, yeah, don't forget to like and subscribe. Leave your comments below if you want to talk about anything or ask any further questions or comment on the video. Or tell me that I'm stupid, ugly, and mannish, by all means. But anyway, if you want to help the channel, please join our Patreon. Even like $3 a month is a lot, you know. We've got enough people to helps keep us fed and helps pay for the editing and that. So thanks again for watching. Hope you enjoyed. We'll catch you later.